check, check. Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 9 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, September 4th. So, looking back at yesterday's action, we had that iron condor on the SPX. So, basically, we come back, we hit it early in the morning, got slightly above it, fell back under it, went down, and you can see this gap that existed from uh, Monday's holiday session, right, uh, to Tuesday's open. So that gap was filled, right, on that uh, view, and then we come back down and we close the gap from Tuesday's session, and then we were in the middle of a sequence and just closed right up inside of that the top end of that iron condor again. And I told you yesterday, what you really need to do on the iron condor is to be able to break it, right? This is just a position from an institutional trader. They do not have to hold it until it expires. They can, turn it into something else. They can close it out, or do whatever they want. Well, this institutional trader, left it there. Uh, and all they're doing is they're selling money, right? That they don't think is going to happen. And the main reason they're selling money between now and tomorrow morning is because of non-farm payroll. They're thinking that market's not going anywhere. They could be right, they could be wrong, but that's the bets they're making. Everyone's, when you're in the market, that's what you're doing. You're making a bet. Um, so as we look at today, once again, we're going to have an iron condor. It's going to go from at the lower end from 64.10 and 15 on the SPX and up to um, 75 and 80 on the top side. The midpoint of that is going to be just below the 64.50 at 64.45. So as we, look at what we've done, yesterday was a very small range. You can see the overnight, we're just sitting here traipsing along it the same way. So you're looking at untested points of control. Um, 63.93, 64.50 is the one from yesterday we'll be looking at today, and then 65.17 above. And if you can, look again, remember, and it wouldn't, I don't think there's a catalyst until, tomorrow morning potentially, but if we do resolve lower, everyone and their brothers got stops below uh, this low that's been tested multiple times on both indexes. And I could, roll one up here as well. Uh, but you're looking, right around in here, I would say, below um, 64, 63, 64 on the ES. Everyone's got stops below, 23, uh, 50. I think Jack had a sequence that was right around 20s or 30s, somewhere in there. And then, all those lows, that's where the stops are. And then, um, I don't really know on the short side if there are really too many stops above. To be honest with you, I think they would just take it on the chin. There's nothing really obvious there. So as you look at where we're at after yesterday's session, you can see going across, most of the action in the overnight session has been above yesterday's settlement, and we're just sitting here flagging, going sideways. A lot to do about nothing so far in the overnight session. And then as we look at, you know, where we're at down here, that is so annoying. Uh, so as we look at where we're at right here, uh, the iron condor for today, again, that midpoint is going to be 64. 45. We are up around 7 points from the settlement last night. I didn't look to see what the offset would be between the 4 o'clock close and the 4:15 close or whatever. But let's just assume that we're a few points above 64. 50 right now, so they can. This was my guess from where it was yesterday, so we're probably, you know, at 59, we're probably about 5 points above that 64.50 if the cash market were to open right now. And then you can also see uh, on the SPY, your really resistance is coming at 645 in the overnight session, and we're just uh, a lot of this overnight session has been consolidating in this 10-point range between 644 and 645. So we'll see what kind of a shakeout we get on the opening bell from that. We have been getting shakeouts on the opening bell. We'll see if that continues today as well. And then those yesterday's lows are going to be important. I would not expect uh, really anything. If you look at where this iron condor is, the lower end of this iron condor is just right below yesterday's low. So, uh, when they put that on last night, they assumed that that was a secure low, right? That we're not taking out yesterday's low before tomorrow morning, which is probably a decent sized bet, right? And then we could still, they're saying that, looking at this, that you get above Monday's highs. That might not happen, but, that's why they're selling above there. There's a buffer that you get a little bit of a sweep and come back. So looking at the Qs, you're looking at 570 to 572 as a little bit of a zone. We're in there right now. And then if you look at the expected high of the move, high of the day from toss, you're looking at just under 575. So that would be around 150 points higher than we're currently trading on the. So you're looking at 23. Uh, Probably 620 or something, right around in there is where that would be. But first, you would have to break on the profile side of things. You'd have to break above 23,551, and then we'll see what we're getting. And again, we're just sitting here between this five in the NQ for the last 6 sessions. I think it has found an 80-point spot and done a lot of consolidation, right? A lot of back and forth and movement. So, uh, every high or low, you could expect, as a reasonable play, to think that, you know, it might be within that $2 strike, and it could consolidate for at least 90 minutes, right? And then we'll have to see where they go from there once the bell opens. And you can see that we've been stuck in here since 10 o'clock last night after getting above this 72. And that is the call wall for today. Doesn't mean that that's going to end all be all. We got lots of positions around and things to go through. So what I'll be watching, long story short, this morning is to see uh, what gives way first, right? Either 570 on the Qs, breaking that, sweeping those lows, or if we can get above 645 on the SPY. That's my initial read because we're really not anywhere near at this point in time the edges of this iron condor. We're more at the midpoint. And we could stay around there. Again, that midpoint's going to be at 64.45, and then so a little bit more of you know, pressure holding above uh, that above it, and a little bit of downward pressure below it. So, but you could get that reversion to the mean if you get stretch from there, and I would say a stretch is probably like 25 points. I hope this helps. We'll see what Jack's looking at next, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Remember, non-farm payroll in the morning.